Hello travelers, and welcome back to another episode of the Architect's Forge. Today we'll be looking at Lioslaith Coic Caledhee, the final member of the action pack and the named High Command. As always, we'll start by looking at the lore behind this character before jumping into their character profile on the table. Lioslaith is one of the most celebrated warriors in the Great Forest. For years, she served as captain of the Shadows of the Yew for Silver Ivy, and all remember her for having led the attack in the Viper's Thicket, where she ended the life of a gigantic reptile that was terrorizing the area. When she finished the beast off, with the assistance of 3 of her warriors, they rested their swords on their enormous stone that the beast has used as a shelter. Their blades were absorbed into this rock and fossilized upon the surface. Since that great day, this place has been known as the Rock of the Four Swords. Legend says that the 4 blades have become imbued with the power of the great Syenann that they had killed, distributing its magic and poison between each of them. The blades remain there to this very day, waiting for champions who are noble enough to extract them. Lioslaith performed many other exploits until she was unanimously named Grand Captain of Silver Ivy. Her determined and aggressive appearance reveals what everyone knows. She is always prepared for battle. For this reason, she always carries the scabbard of Nuada, the former general of the Elven Empire, on her belt. This artifact protects its wearer from bleeding out if seriously cut or wounded. Now, of course, for all those Scions players that like Nuada, really wish he still had his scabbard, but unfortunately he doesn't. Maybe one day he'll reclaim it from Lioslaith. But that is Lioslaith in lore. Before we look at Lioslaith on the table, just a quick reminder that if you're enjoying these videos or any of the other videos on the channel, please remember to like, follow, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps it grow. You can also share the channel and the videos with any friends that you think might find it interesting. Help it grow and also expand this game that we like. If you were so inclined and you want to help support the channel financially, there are 3 options. You can join as a channel member. All levels of the channel member do get the ability, if they want, to reach out to me on Discord or message me or email me and request a specific Architect's Forge character that you want me to, or unit that you want me to look at. And also, if you opt for the marked level, the higher of the 2 levels, you also will be getting access to videos early. On top of that, there is a link to Buy Me a Coffee in the description below. Likewise, if you at the same time send a message about an Architect's Forge or a video you want to see, definitely can make that happen. And finally, if you are going to be purchasing anything directly from the Corvus Belli store, in the description there is also a link to my affiliate link with the Corvus Belli store. So if you use that affiliate link to access the store and then make a purchase, that will also help support the channel. But the main thing is making sure to remember to like, follow, and subscribe. But with that, let's jump into looking at Lioslaith's profile on the table. And it is quite the profile. So as always, starting with the basic stats, Lioslaith comes in at 30 points, the same as the Grand Captain. As we talked about there, it's about upper end of average for a officer, middle range of average for the officer, and definitely I'd say the lower range of average for a high command. Now Lioslaith is only going to be bringing a single command token, but we'll see her card doesn't actually have any command abilities, so it's not like she herself is going to be pulling from this pool of command tokens. Would it be nice to have more? Yes, but she brings enough. Speed-wise, she's even faster than the Grand Captain, coming in at 4-4 with an 11 charge. This is as fast as a Spall-based bottle can move. So yeah, she is very quick when she is on her own. She's definitely keeping up with her forces. She has an average wounds of 3, willpower of 2 orange, and a morale of 3. The wounds is, as I say, average, but we'll see. It's deceptive. She actually is more survivable than that 3 wounds would make it seem. Willpower is, again, it's good. It's average for a officer, especially a high command. Then morale 3 is high. That is above the average. It means that if she's running around on her own, she's going to be able to do it more often, or she's going to be able to use her modifiers more often, which she does have quite good modifiers. As is expected of a named character and a high command, you can only bring one of her, because, yeah, you just can. As I mentioned, she is a high command, so at this point you'll just be locking out access to the Grand Captain. I think most people prefer Lioslaith over the Grand Captain, so this is less of a negative than it was for the Grand Captain. But just be aware of it. Like the Grand Captain, she is a Nemerus unit, which means people being near her will activate their buffs, including a buff that she herself provides to her force. So yeah, it's always nice when we see Nemerus in the Syenann units. She is also an ambusher, so if you're choosing to run her by herself, you can leave her off the board to start and have her just ambush in. Now, with a charge of 11, she can actually charge from ambush still, and with a morale of 3, the stress you have to pay is, less taxing. The reason she can still charge is you need to deploy over 12 away, but because you move a charge 11 and then have a 2-stride base, it means you threaten 13, so you can still charge. Another ability we've seen on some other of these high commands, Lioslaith is elite, which means that all of her hollow hits, hollow blocks, and hollow specials can be counted as solid, meaning her dice are that much more consistent, and even her willpower is more consistent. She's a lot harder to break because 2 orange dice is already really good, but when you start counting the hollow hits as well, yeah, she's going to stick around. She has the ability to join any Syenann infantry, which is really nice. You can be flexible with her. Now, we'll see later, she doesn't really have good benefits to a ranged unit, so really you're just going to choose a melee unit that you want to be able to hit hard, and she'll join them, is really the game plan, unless she's running around by herself, either because you want to, or because maybe the mission makes it so you're inclined to do that. Maybe you're playing Decapitation, maybe you want her as a banner bearer. Finally, unlike the Grand Captain, she does not bring conquest. Lioslaith leans more into that violence aspect of the Syenann. She is not there to hold objectives. She is there to help make your force kill more and maybe survive a little bit longer. So, speaking of killing, let's look at her attack. Now, Lioslaith comes with a red, 2 yellow, a blue, and an automatic hit, with the ability to stress for another yellow and an automatic hit. Now, at first glance, yellow dice aren't usually that good, but because she is elite, the value of that yellow dice is actually much higher than it would be for another character. As a result, she will be averaging 3.5 hits with a maximum of 7 if she is stressing. She can get up to the 7. Otherwise, she maxes out at 5, so stressing will get you up to 7. The average will also go up to 5.13 when you stress. So 3.5 average hits, max of 7 when you stress, and that average going up to 5.13. For a solo character, this is actually pretty high damage. Again, she has high morale. If you're punching with her, you're probably, unless something's happened, you're going to be using that morale to push through as much damage as possible. And yeah, that's pretty solid damage for a solo. She's also adding that nice blue die, can help get specials for switches, but also can help make her block more. And as I said, don't forget she's elite, so you're much more likely to get those successes. Now, on average, she will get 3 specials when she is going up to 4 when she is stressing, which is good because she has a switch that requires 3 specials, so it means you're on average probably getting that switch off once. Speaking of that switch, it is a fairly hard switch. It's 3 specials to cancel 1 shield from your target. Now, normally 3 specials, this is like a 2 special switch. With her, it's 3. Now, because she's an elite, it makes it so you're much more likely to get it. 3 specials is almost like 2 for someone else. And those yellow dice usually have a lot of specials on them. So overall, it's a good way. You can almost think of it, you're on average going to, let's say you're stressing, On average, you're going to be getting 5 through, and then canceling 1. It's almost, assuming your opponent gets a block, it's almost like you are putting in 6 hits. So quite good damage, especially for a solo. Defensively, she's not a slouch either. She has a green, a blue, and a black, as well as an automatic block, and she can stress for a yellow die and a hit. A yellow die and another block. So she's going to be averaging about a little bit over 3 blocks, going up to 4 blocks when she stresses, because she'll get that automatic block, which is pretty good. It's actually a pretty solid defensive profile for a unit. On top of that, she does average, almost averages 1 hit that when she stresses, just because that yellow die can maybe push through some extra damage, but it also makes the specials more consistent. She does have a double special switch, which on average she will get once, and if she stresses, 1.5 times. So it's pretty solid. And what is that switch? The switch that she has is a double special switch that says if you are engaged, you place yourself 3. You are likely to get this once, and sometimes you'll get it twice. And this is a really good mobility switch. Now, you can proc it multiple times as long as each time you go to use it, you are engaged. What this can mean is you can actually hop between different enemy units to move further. So you can, let's say you're charged by someone, they attack you, you get this switch, you place yourself 3, and when you place yourself 3, you land engaged with another enemy unit, and then let's say you had 4 specials, then you can place yourself 3 again away from that unit, and now you've essentially placed yourself 3 twice, which is 5. So you're 10 strides in a certain direction, just because you're able to kind of leapfrog between enemy units. So it's a pretty good switch. You'll see this on a lot of different Syenann units. It's one of the things that makes them really hard to deal with and annoying, because you try and hit them and you really can't pin them down because they just keep placing away. Now let's get into what makes Lioslaith particularly scary, and that is starting to look at her skills. Now, first, we have a passive skill called Encircling Defense. This is the bane of many people's existence. It requires no line of sight. It targets all allied units, and it affects everyone on the table. And all it says is all allied units that are within 3 strides of a forest or Nemeris unit will get to ignore 1 damage in each activation. This is very good. It's just essentially, as long as you're near Nemeris or a forest, you're just getting automatically negating 1 damage a turn. This is why people love and hate her. It makes the Syenann that much more survivable. It makes it so those times where maybe you're doing a little bit of chip damage, 1 damage, 2 damage, now you're only doing none or 1. Makes it so the Syenann can sometimes win combats or just not lose them on defense. And yeah, it's very good ability. It did get a bit weaker in 1.6. It went from, I believe, 5 strides down to 3. But yeah, still a very strong and reliable way to reduce damage to the whole company. Now, it isn't permanent, so while Lioslaith is off the board, if she's ambushing in either by herself or with a unit, or if she has died, the ability will be gone, in which case the enemy units will lose the ability to reduce the damage. It's also not a dauntless ability, so if Lioslaith is fleeing, or her unit is fleeing, again, the ability will be turned off, so just keep an eye out for that. Her second passive ability is what makes it so she is really hard to kill. It is dauntless, so even if she's fleeing, it will trigger, and you can only do it once per game. And it triggers when you're about to take Lioslaith out of combat. So essentially, once she's taken her 3 wounds and is about to die. At that point, what you do is you just remove all damage and states from Lioslaith, set her stress level to 2, and then you place herself 3. So essentially, whenever you're about to kill her, she just fully heals, removes all conditions, sets her stress to 2, and then gets the place away from wherever she is, and you now have another full health Lioslaith. This makes her an extremely good model for banner and decapitation. Decapitation, because good luck killing a already very squirrely and hard to kill high command, and for banner because you don't actually die, so you don't drop the banner. Now, if you for some reason had fled, then it would, but She's pretty good at just not fleeing, so this is just a really nice and annoying way to have your banner bearer not drop the banner, and she hits hard enough that you can score banner points with her. Okay, but let's see what she does when she's in a unit. Looking first at her basic modifiers. First, she'll set her unit's willpower to 2 oranges, which will be an improvement for most units, and further supporting that morale, she's going to give them +1 morale. This can help keep your unit from fleeing, let them activate more, or use some of those very handy stress modifiers. Speaking of which, in terms of melee output, she will be providing your unit an automatic hit and the ability to stress for a second hit, which is really, again, just boosting consistency. Auto hits are really good. Dice are nice when you have switches, but realistically, if you're just talking about damage, just guaranteeing a hit is always going to be better. In terms of defense, she will give your unit a blue die with the ability to stress to add another shield. Again, adding some pretty solid consistency. Blue die is not as good as an automatic block, but Syenann also have some really annoying defensive switches, so sometimes it is just better to be able to roll a die. And like the Grand Captain, she will be giving her unit an extra conquest. So while she is attached, making them that much higher conquest, which is good because Syenann usually are a bit lower in conquest. So anything that gives them extra will always be helpful and appreciated. In terms of skills, she has 2 skills while she is attached. The first is Encircling Defense, which is exactly the same as in her unattached form. So whether alone or attached, as long as she's on the table, your units that are near forest and numerous units will be getting that damage reduction. So, what does she have that is new? She has a second passive ability on her attached form called Captain of the Shadows of the U, and this will trigger anytime her unit charges or assaults. Your opponent will then receive the vulnerable state, and then your unit may repeat up to 2 dice from the attack roll. This makes her unit hit extremely hard. Pair this with something like the Shadows of the U, who already turn off defensive switches, and now your opponent's vulnerable, so they're losing a die. They can't use stress modifiers, and now they can't use defensive switches. And on top of that, your unit is going to get to reroll 2 dice from their attack rolls. Now, it's important to note here, right? When you charge, you can repeat the whole roll. This allows you to just repeat 2 dice. Now, you can't do both. If you repeat the whole roll, you can't then re-roll 2 dice. And if you've re-rolled 2 dice, you can't then repeat the whole roll. This is because in 1.6, you can never re-roll. The same die can never be re-rolled twice. And if you can't repeat all your dice in a roll, you can't do a repeat roll ability like you get on the charge. But what this does is lets you be consistent. There's a lot of the times you might charge, and maybe 2 of your, let's say you're rolling 4 dice, let's say 2 of the dice are good. Well, then it's a question, do you want to gamble and repeat the whole roll? Or, now that you have this ability with Lioslaith, you just get to re-roll the 2 that failed. Other times, maybe yours is with the whole roll and all 4 dice will be bad. Well, then you won't use Lioslaith's 2 dice. Instead, you'll do a repeat the whole roll. The main thing is, well, on top of the vulnerable, the ability to make that choice is very strong, and it allows you to just make it so whatever unit she's in that's charging is just being that much more consistent. It also means that if for whatever reason you have to assault and not charge, you're at least still getting to repeat 2 dice. But that is Lioslaith. Just quickly summarizing, I guess, some thoughts on her. Lioslaith is a very reliable commander. I think there is a good reason that many Syenann players, I'd say most at this point, are usually running her as their high command. She's a very good force multiplier that helps give your elves, who are already, I say, deceptively durable, that much more durable. Just automatic negation of damage each once per activation, just by being near a tree. And remember, it doesn't say other, so those units that already are numerous units just will always get to reduce by 1. So saying like a Sprig unit will just always get to reduce by 1 because they're always going to be near themselves and they're a numerous unit. So it just gives that much more durability. On top of that, it lets you field one of the most, I'd say, consistent killie combinations of the game, which is Lioslaith in the Shadows of the U. This is a unit that comes in, hits really hard, can just delete units. And on top of that, because they ambush and they charge far enough that they can charge from ambush, you can't really hide from them. They can come in, you can't deal with them first. And unless you're, maybe dwarves who can give them disarmed when they come in, you're going to have a really hard time dealing with them. Yeah, it is a very nasty combination. If you haven't tried it as a Syenann player, I recommend trying it. If you haven't had it used against you, well, just wait until you play a Syenann player that does. It is going to hurt. It's not the end of the world, but yeah, it'll definitely hurt, and it's definitely something to fear. And something that really makes Lioslaith worth considering. And now it's not just the Shadows of You. She also is very good in other units like Sienna Wardens, who she can start on the board, so you have that damage reduction from the beginning. In some ways, I kind of like that more, because otherwise you don't want to rush your shadows coming in, because ambushers coming in later can be very powerful, but you also want that damage reduction early. So I think there's a strong argument to start her in a unit like Sienna Wardens, who could really do like her ability to give that bonus damaging on the charge, while also being able to start on the field to get that damage reduction right off the bat. But those are just my thoughts on Lioslaith. I'd love to hear your thoughts, either as someone that's played her, where do you find she excels? Where do you think maybe she's not as good? And maybe you're someone that plays against Syenann a lot and struggle against her and just want to curse her name in the comments. We want to hear all of it. But please, as I said, remember, if you're enjoying these videos, to like, follow, and subscribe. And with that, I hope you enjoyed our look at Syenann. We'll be moving on, probably on to Embersig when we start returning to the Architect's Forge, barring any member recommendations or requests. But with that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and may the dice be ever in your favor.